Well, hello again. Trucker Todd here. Sorry for my appearance and the sound of my voice. I've been a little under the weather. I think I'm slowly getting better, but my voice may come and go. We'll try to get through this video, though. It's the day I've been waiting for a few weeks now. Roadrunner Freight released the new contract for 2020. There is some changes, some good. There was some disappointment in there, too. I'm going to cover all those things, and this is going to be an ongoing thing, I'm sure. But before we do that, I just want to remind everybody, if you have not done it yet, make sure you like and subscribe. Share this video with people you think could benefit from this information, potentially people that might be considering coming to work at Roadrunner Freight, or that kind of want to see how their company stacks up against Roadrunner Freight. My email is always down in the comments section. If you want to email me about get more information about coming to work here, or maybe ask me questions, feel free to leave it in the comments or email me. Like I say, if you subscribe and click that little bell, you'll get notifications when I put out a new video, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that. Now, let's jump right into this contract. Like I say, there's a lot of positive things. I had actually recorded this video earlier today, and then I spoke to the guy at Roadrunner I really like, that his name begins with a B. As you know, I don't release any names on here. And he told me that he was one of the main authors. Man, that's hard to say when you're saying authors of this contract. And so I got to ask him some questions and see his insights on why some of the things that were done, and maybe the motivation behind it. One thing you'll notice as we go through this, the focus this year seems to be on safety and retention. And I think that's something that all companies are struggling with right now. How can they make their company more safer, and how can they retain the drivers that they have and get more drivers and expand? And so I think you'll see that theme here. So here, let's jump right in, and then I'll elaborate as needed. Now, you remember me saying, well, let me do this. Let's talk about additions that they didn't have before that they have now. You remember I just said a few seconds ago, actually, that there was a focus on safety with this year's contract. They have come up with several safety incentives, and let me jump right into those. The safety incentives will be paid on a quarterly basis, and the example that it gives is if during the time period of January through March, which would be when this first started, if you received any level inspections, roadside inspections, or in a scale house, those would be paid before May 1st, so in the month following the quarter, basically. They are going to require us to watch 3 safety videos during that time. That's something we never had to do before, and I really don't mind that. Sometimes you can get some good information. Sometimes it's just nice to be reminded. So I don't have a problem with the 3 safety videos. And you obviously, to get the deal, you have to have no reportable DOT violations. Now, for a level 4 inspection, you would get $100. For a level 3 inspection, which is a pretty common one, I would say the first 3, level 1, 2, and 3, are the most common. Level 3, you get 100. Level 2, you get 200. Level 1, you get 300. It also says that they will consider it a clean inspection if you get something removed from the data queue. So that is also good. And so this part of the program, I think, is great. I also asked, well, what happens if during that quarter, say you get 2 good ones and 1 bad one? Does the 1 bad one wipe out the 2 good ones? He had to check on that as well. He got back to me, said, no, you would still get paid for the 2 good ones that you did. We're trying to promote safety. So I thought that was real good. I've heard of companies doing deals like this, and you get 1 minor violation or one even warning, and they take all your safety bonuses away. He said they were not going to do that, that if you got a clean inspection, you'd be paid for those quarterly. So I thought that was good. One thing that will affect every driver almost immediately is if you're accident free at the 6-month point, you get a penny raise. At a year point, you get 2-cent raise per mile, of course. 3 years is 3 cents per mile. 5 years is 5 cents per mile. Now, why this is significant and also great, these are, I want to be clear before I say anything negative. These two things are giant steps in the right direction. If anything I say makes it sound like these aren't steps in the right direction, then I've misspoke or you've misunderstood. What he said about these, if you remember, I had the debacle in California where I got in some trouble. I recently had one of these speed trap cameras get me, and that was a weird deal. I should have probably done a video about it. He said those will not count against me. They're not going to go back. So starting January 1st, I've got a clean slate. When I have 6 months with the companies, which would be somewhere in February or early March, I'll begin getting that penny a mile raise. So I thought that was great. Another thing they've done for winter driving, if you have a load that originates or delivers in Seattle or Portland from October 1st to March 31st, they're going to pay an extra 5 cents a mile. That's another huge step in the right direction. You're not ever going to hear me say anything negative about that. They obviously, when they were writing this contract, were concerned about safety and keeping drivers, and you can tell a lot of thought went into the constructive criticism they received. They had round tables, listened to what drivers had to say, and you can tell they addressed as many of those things as they felt like they could. Something I did not know, this may have been this way the whole time, and it's something I'm going to have to take a look at. Hazmat loads pay an extra 10 cents a mile. That right there might be enough to make me get my hazmat endorsement back. I've heard of companies doing 5 cents a mile, 3 cents a mile, but 10 cents a mile is a large deal. Excuse me. One thing I can't get super excited about, and it's not a huge deal because in my 24 years of driving, I've only ran across it a couple of times. A few times, well, I don't want to say a couple, a few times. I've referred a few people over the years to different companies. But their referral plan, $250 after your referral completes 60 days, and another $250 after they complete 120. Paid on the first settlement following them hitting those dates. I would like to see it be a little sooner, and I'd like to see it be a lot more. Many companies are paying, $1,000, $2,000 for referrals. I don't feel like this is necessarily competitive. I'm told this is what it's been for several years now. I believe that because I do feel it's a little outdated. If you refer a team, it basically doubles, but you get the $500 after 30 days. And I'm not clear on my notes here. I think you get the other $500 after 120 days or 6 months, basically. One thing to mention, if you're a team, you get an additional 6 cents a mile. There were no changes to the Deadhead Pay. Again, I'd like to see it a little more, but it's not a huge deal to me because I don't have a lot of deadhead on the terminal. For example, I just delivered here to Miraloma. Tonight I'll pick up a load in Miraloma, or tomorrow morning, and so there's no deadhead. And so another place that they made a huge improvement was in their detention pay. You remember I had a video where I was frustrated with, sorry, I'm getting a call, where I was frustrated with Roadrunner. I'd gone to a terminal in Commerce and sat there, and there's a whole video on it. You can go back and see. And I was told by the fleet coordinator that, oh, by the way, let me say this before I go any further. update on the fleet coordinator. He and I are getting along a lot better. Things are running a lot smoother. I think we're starting to hit our stride. And same with the IC coordinator. Her and I get along great. Things are going good. I just wanted to do a quick update. That wasn't planned for this video, but I thought I need to mention that I haven't had any issues with either one of those in a while. But anyway, back to what I was saying. My brain's kind of skipping around. They told me that layover pay, I read my contract and I didn't see where it really specified before. They told me that after you set 24 hours, you were entitled to $100. And I said, well, that means on the 25th hour, I've made $4 an hour. That's not great. They have improved it. And again, this is going to be another spot that if it sounds like I'm not grateful, if it sounds like I don't appreciate it, that's not my intent. I do think there's still room for improvement. I know I can't get everything in one contract. This may take some time. Now what they're doing is after 4 hours, they'll pay you $15 an hour for up to a maximum of $150 a day. Teams at doubles, $30 an hour for up to $300. Now, and then for the next cycle, which I guess would be the next day if you went that long, I can't ever see how you would on a terminal to terminal. They'd pay 7 hours, which would be, what would that be, about $95 or something. But I can't ever see it going that long because at that point you'd take a backhaul or something. You wouldn't just continue to sit there. But again, is this exactly what I wanted? When I do backhauls, I get $30 to $60 an hour. So it's still not up to that level, but it's better than it was. At $15 an hour, I start thinking, well, this is a professional. You have your CDL. You're a professional truck driver. Is $15 a great wage? And you have to understand, Wendy's is paying 15-year-olds $15 an hour right now. Chick-fil-A's paying $13 an hour. Would your plumber or electrician sit 4 hours for free? And the contract actually says free time. Would they give 4 hours of free time before they accepted $15 an hour? Probably not. And this is a step in the right direction. This is an area I'd like to see it improve a little more. As professional drivers, I think $15 an hour is a little low, but it's a minor detail because honestly, doing this LTL freight terminal to terminal, it's not a situation you're going to encounter very often, if ever at all. So I'm not going to make a huge deal about that, but I was a little disappointed. I was grateful and disappointed at the same time, if that's possible. Passenger insurance, if you want to take your wife, girlfriend, whatever, brother, sister, $13 a month, that hasn't changed. The insurances, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, the insurances have all basically stayed the same price this year. I think that's really good because I know a lot of people's insurances have gone up. Here's something else that if it was in the previous contract, I was unaware of it, and I'm glad to see this. Arizona, California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington loads have a penny a mile fuel surcharge increase on those loads as well. I don't have anything negative to say about that. That's great. Anything like that is great. Off topic, I was talking to a guy yesterday, and I've had this a lot. A lot of people are just not familiar with the fuel surcharge, what it is, how it works. And I think soon I'm going to have to do a video and explain what the fuel surcharge is, how it works, and why your fuel economy can really affect how effective your fuel surcharge is. This other guy and I were debating if the 99 cent a gallon deal that Hirschbach has is a good deal. And I was basically explaining to him that while Hirschbach is offering you 99 cent fuel with no fuel surcharge, that I actually come out better with the fuel surcharge. I'm actually paying about 88 cents a gallon. And he had a real hard time understanding that concept. So I may need to do a video about that. I really need a chalkboard to kind of explain that, but that may be something coming up pretty soon too. Now, the biggest disappointment that I had, and I did discuss it with the one guy when he called me today. I really like him. We're able to have good communication, and so I was honest with him. The rate sheet. In previous videos, you've heard me say that to be competitive with other companies, I feel the rates are off 17 to 20%. That's not just a number I picked out. That's me doing a lot of research and devoting a lot of time to seeing what's in the market right now. I mentioned this to him because on the new contract, the rates didn't change, or if they did, I didn't see any changes. Maybe in a few select markets it might have changed slightly. And his response was, well, with these new things we've added, you should see a 2 to 3% increase in pay. Again, I'm never going to criticize a raise. I'm glad to get that 2 to 3% increase. However, cost of living's about 3% a year, so in the end, it's a net even. And so they did make a lot of positive changes this year, and I think he went about as far as he could go this year. But I think that next contract, they're really going to have to address that rate sheet. They've got rates on there that are paying 80 cents a mile. Companies that you and I would never, ever, ever consider working for are paying their leasers $1 a mile. So I don't see how they can stay at 80 cents much longer. Now, I'm about to do a load to Chicago, and it pays pretty good. Roughly $1.46 a mile. That's a lot better for dry van freight, dropping hook at both ends. But I definitely have some concerns about the rates in certain markets. And overall, I would have liked to have seen some increases there. But anyway, that's where we're at now. I know a lot of people have been asking me, am I going to stay or am I going to go? And I did a video recently where I showed my income, what I'm making here. It's not great, but it's okay. I'm doing better than a lot of leasers out here. But I'm also running the miles and working hard. And so as of now, I'm going to stay here and kind of see how this goes. But the problem may have been me. I set my expectations really high because I really thought there would be more than this, but I am happy with the progress that was made. They are obviously listening to drivers and trying to do the right thing. And I think each year they're going to get a little better. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody for watching. Hope y'all have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.